I can't help you, they said. A therapist said that. Does that seem right to you?
I'm Alicia Decker, co-founder of Mended.
And I'm Jonathan Decker, licensed therapist.
Okay, so the statement, I can't help you. Is that something a therapist should ever say?
On the surface of it, no. This segment is shit that therapists say. We asked our viewers for things that therapists have said that just took them by surprise, and one of them was that I can't help you. On the surface, it seems like a really pig-headed, hurtful thing to say. I'm coming for help. I need support. You're here to teach me the tools and teach me skills, and you're saying I can't help you. Are you saying that I'm a hopeless case? Are you saying that I'm worthless? And on the surface, it seems like a really BS thing to say. And it is, unless it's not.
This is BS.
So let me explain what I mean by that. If a therapist says, I can't help you, and what they mean is you can't be helped, or they say you can't be helped, that is absolutely...
Something is innately wrong with you.
Yeah, and you're unfixable or untreatable. I don't believe in that. And that's not why anyone gets into the therapeutic field. It's a very dark, hopeless place to come from. The fact is, anybody can get help.
Yeah.
And everybody else who helped.
Well, and I think if that is what's meant, that is particularly damaging because in any relationship, you have a power structure.
Yeah.
Right? And hopefully if it's a healthy relationship, it's a healthy power structure. But innately, the therapist is in a position of power in that relationship.
And authority and expertise.
Power, authority, and expertise.
Your words carry weight.
Right.
Yeah.
And the person, the client, the person that's coming for counseling, coming for therapeutic support, like they're in a challenging time in their life or they wouldn't be in your office. And so it is extremely, extremely devastating in that situation from a person of authority, from a person in a place of power to say something is innately wrong with you.
I have the power.
Well, and most therapists wouldn't say that or wouldn't say you're untreatable, but that's where we need to be careful with words because what I mean and what you hear could be two different things. I might be saying I can't help you, and what I mean is I'm not qualified to help you, right? I mean, I'm a family therapist, I'm a marriage counselor, and now I've done a lot of trauma training, but if someone comes to me with schizophrenia and says, I'm hearing voices and I'm seeing things that other people don't see, if I say I can't help you, what I mean is you need to see somebody who is trained and specializes in this, and they can help you.
And you mean I'm not the best fit for you.
Yeah, and what you hear is, I can't be helped, right? And that's why words carry so much weight, and we have to be very careful, not just in what we say and how we say it, but in clarifying
what it means.
And how did it land, right? And how did you take it? And not just how did, and I don't like how did you take it because I'm sorry you took it that way. I like to take a position of perhaps I didn't communicate clearly, or what I meant to say is not what came across.
Was that not clear?
So if a therapist is saying, I cannot help you because I'm not the best fit for you, that is perfectly valid. Another thing that's perfectly valid is, I can help you, but you're refusing to be helped. So what I was saying earlier is anybody can be helped if, that doesn't mean all their problems are going to go away or all of their weaknesses or all of the things they're struggling with. It doesn't mean everything has a solution or everything can be fixed. What it does mean is if you are looking for skills to better navigate life and relationships, if you are looking for strategies and techniques or to increase your ability to just handle all the stuff that you face, if you're open and teachable and willing, then you absolutely can be helped.
You just got to be willing to sweat.
But some people refuse to be helped. They just want to be validated. They just want to be heard, which is definitely a part of therapy.
Right.
But another part of therapy is holding a mirror up. Like these are ways of thinking or behaving that are limiting your experience or keeping you trapped. And good therapy is meant to challenge you. Good therapy isn't always going to feel good. Sometimes it's very uncomfortable. I've had people leave a session furious at me and come back a week or two later and say, I hated your stinking guts.
Yeah.
And then I calmed down. And then I thought about what you said, and I realized the reason I had that reaction is because it's exactly what I needed to hear.
Yeah. Well, so there has to be the desire there, the desire for growth, the desire for change. And then there also has to be a level of accountability and responsibility because it's easy to say, well, all my problems are because of someone else.
Yeah.
Like that's the easy road. It's really, really hard to lift the mirror up and say, okay, how have I contributed
Yeah.
to this life that I don't want? How have I contributed to this situation,
Yeah.
that's hurting me? Because in essence, you're hurting yourself, but you're not doing those things intentionally. And that's hopefully what the role of the therapist is there for,
Yeah.
is to help you see.
Listen, I just want to help.
Well, and the reason I was laughing a second ago is what you were saying was making me think of people sometimes come to therapy and the perspective is, can you fix my circumstances or help me to change the people around me?
Right.
And when therapy turns more towards, you're more of an active contributor to your life being messed up than you think you are, some people don't want to hear it. So what I would say is that the phrase, I can't help you, may not be the best phrase to use because it's not especially clear.
Yeah.
You can be helped, but I'm not the best person to do it, and here's why. Or we're not a fit for each other personality-wise. Or you can be helped, but you're choosing not to be. In my professional observation, you're choosing not to be helped would be a better way to express that. But once again, I think everybody can be helped. Not everybody will be, but everybody can be. If you're humble, you're open, you're teachable, and if you found a therapist that's the right fit for you. Because it's not just about expertise. You know how people can be jerks? That's also true of therapists, which is really sad.
Because they're people.
Now, I've shared some of my experience as a clinician. You've told me before, you've been to counseling, you've been to couples counseling in previous relationships.
It's so much fun.
Yeah, right? Was there ever a time that you felt a therapist wasn't a fit for you? Or that maybe you couldn't be helped, or some combination of that?
Yeah, there was a couples therapist that we saw, and she specialized in helping couples, and particularly women, in relationships where there was levels of infidelity, pornography, things of that nature.
Yeah.
And she had, and I'm sure she was really great, but it turns out that she wasn't a fit for us. I went into my first appointment and I said, there's some things I'd like to explain to you, my perspective, when my spouse isn't in the room, because I don't feel like I can speak freely about these specific things when he's in the room. And I think she just thought I needed to vent. And so I addressed some very specific issues. And then the following week...
And she didn't know you. You're not a venter.
I'm not
You're
a venter.
You're a strategist, and you're saying, if therapy is going to be successful, here are things we need to...
Yeah. And so the following week, we met together as a couple. And she was asking the exact same questions that I had already addressed the previous week. And I explained to her the dynamics and why I didn't feel comfortable expressing 100% what was going on with me while he was there. And she just stared at me and she was like, well, if you're not going to talk, I can't help you. And I'm like, it felt like I was in some sort of twilight zone. Right.
Like, I told you I can't talk about this when all three of us are in the room together.
Right. At least not in that way.
Yeah. And at least not this early in counseling.
Right.
Like, obviously you would want to build to that to be able to, but...
Yeah.
Okay, please tell me.
And another thing that happened in that relationship, or in the relationship with the therapist, is because there was issues with infidelity and pornography and things of that nature. And she just assumed that she knew how I felt about it and how I responded it. And I had a very unique experience to those dynamics in that I saw the challenges in my former husband's life that led him to make those decisions. And I didn't agree with those decisions, but I didn't see his choices as a reflection on me and my worth.
Yeah. And
so, which quite often most women do, and understandably so. And so, she just went down this whole path of like, well, how do you think your spouse feels?
Yeah.
And then she turned to me and said, isn't that how you feel? And I said, no, that isn't at all how I feel. And I expressed, yes, he has these challenges and I understand that they're coping mechanisms and how he came to those coping mechanisms. And so it was those two factors where she didn't really listen to me. And she didn't really get to know me in that previous appointment because the way she showed up in that second appointment showed in every way, shape, or form.
And there's a little bit of copy and paste. Like, I've dealt with this before, so here's what I'm going to do.
Right. There was a lot of copy and paste. And I just said, yeah, that's not a fit. And that didn't make her a bad therapist. That just meant she wasn't a fit for what we needed.
She may well have helped a lot of people.
And I know she did.
Yeah. And that, I'm not a fit for everybody. Not every member of our team is a fit for everybody. But something that I would express from a therapist's perspective on this is you have to be an active participant. And if your therapist says or does something that you find to be hurtful or damaging, rather than write them off, at least give them a chance to understand, this is what I understood you were saying, therapist. This is what I understood you were doing. And here's why it was damaging, because misunderstandings happen. Sometimes we expect therapists to be superhuman and to not. And they're not.
I'm a human too.
I've had clients tell me, this is what you said and this is how I took it. And I'm like, oh crap. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm really glad we're having this conversation because that's not how I meant it at all. Or frankly, they'll say, this is what you said. And I'll think, that's not what I said. And my first thought is, this is their insecurity or their trauma talking, that it went through a filter and came out the other side. And then I think, or no, maybe that's exactly what I said. And what was going on here is not what came out here. And I'm very glad we're having this conversation. And so when we talk about shit therapists say and stupid things therapists say, as Alicia says, we're imperfect, we're flawed, we make mistakes. And sometimes your insecurities and fears meet our foot and mouth moments, and then it goes into something. Yeah. And so I would say always give your therapist at least one chance to rectify by letting them know what's going on with you and how what they did was hurtful.
And that might be, some personality types are going to have no problem speaking up and no problem saying, no, that doesn't work for me, or here's what's going on, or so on and so forth. A lot of other personality types, because of the power dynamic, right? Because of the position of authority, that's going to be really, really uncomfortable. And so get the support that you need. If the therapist just overall isn't a fit, like, that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. But part of learning and growing and healing from trauma is finding your voice and recognizing you have a choice. And so take that opportunity to express what is going on for you. And definitely don't look at it as, and them as an infallible human being.
Yeah. We went off on a tangent, but I think it was a worthwhile one and a meaningful one. Wrapping it back into the original question, you can be helped if you choose to be helped. And if you find the right person to help you. And if it's not going well, don't be quick to blame yourself.
Keep searching for that community.
Keep searching for that community. Keep searching for that right fit for you. So speaking of community, here at Mended Light, we are creating a community where you can connect with people who have gone through what you've gone through or similar things. Obviously connecting with us and learning from the things that we're sharing, but we also learn a lot from you. We check and read all of our comments, and so many times the things that you have to say, the experiences that you have to share, the insights that you have, they boost us, they help us, they expand our understanding, but also the other members of the community. And so you can find that community on Instagram, on Facebook, here on YouTube, and you can connect with this entire family of Mended Light folk. Mended Lighters. No, we'll find a better name.
We are the spark that'll light the fire that'll...
Speaking of stupid things that therapists say, if you enjoyed this video, do what feels good, is what a therapist said. And is that actually good advice? You're gonna wanna check that video out. Also like, subscribe, click the bell, share with your friends so that we can keep getting this message out.
And remember to keep shining. We need your light.
Indeed we do. And here comes the video I was telling you about. Yeah, click on it, do it, watch it. It'll make you happy. You'll learn so much.